Welcome, people of Hexaco, beautiful people of. Do I have to say PulseCo right now? That doesn't sound very good. I don't like PulseCo. What's going on, guys? How we feeling? Are we happy? We feeling rich yet? I know I'm definitely feeling super happy. I'm so thrilled. Oh my God. This is the biggest launch in crypto history. And it's only been 10 days. Prices have just been ripping. PulseX is at PLS is at a 2x. We got thank you for the sub, J Enrique. We got PLS at a 2.24x. We've got PulseX at a 18% over sacrifice price. I mean, technically from its lows, it did about a 13x, right? I mean, if you want to count all the way from the dip, yeah, people sold PulseX down, 90% under sacrifice prices. So congrats to anyone that got in under that. And shame on you to all the hater soy boys out there saying, oh, PulseX is dead. What a failure. A lot of these guys that are talking shit online, they can't see past just one day or 1 week of time. So you really got to ignore the noise and the naysayers out there. They're not rich and they're not going to be rich. And you need to separate yourself from that pleb mentality of all the people out there saying that just don't want to participate because they're too proud, their ego's too big. They're too proud of themselves to get in on the biggest crypto revolution of all time since the dawn of Ethereum. And they'd rather be right than rich. And they'd rather be right in their own little head because objectively the numbers are proving them wrong. Let's take a look at the prices. Let me share this with you guys. You guys got to see what I'm looking at. I'm going to share plsburn.com. We're going to do a quick rundown of what's been happening with the actual prices of everything. Like I said, PLS 0.000241. Guys, as a reference point, when I'm talking about number of X's, I typically am talking about from the sacrifice price. It's not to say that the price can't go lower than that and then back higher again. We could always dip even below SAC prices, which would just be another buying opportunity for anyone that's a true believer. And obviously, if that were to happen, get ready for the plebs to come out of the woodwork again. Oh my God, PulseChain is dead. Haha, look at you guys. Guys, they're poor. Misery loves company. And the only reason people are naysaying about PulseChain is because they're jealous. They hate us because they ain't us. And they got wrecked in the bear market. They didn't sacrifice. They don't believe in PulseChain, so they don't want to buy into the system right now. So they're going to look to any little thing to nitpick and try to say why PulseChain or PulseX might be a failure when it's absolutely been a wild success, blowing me away beyond my wildest expectations. Okay. So how's everybody doing in the chat? Crypto Coffee in the house. Yep. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? DOS Bomb. Hey, thank you so much. This guy, DOS Bomb. Awesome dude. He sent me some private key stamps. So that's pretty cool. Crypty Girl, always a pleasure to see you. David James, INC Shield. Let's see. I'm not sure what you mean by that. We'll talk about that. We'll dissect that a little bit later. Paul Zodiac, hello. Loric Investor, it's been a while. Hey, how you doing? Coffee is amazing. Yes, I'm so stoked. Loric Investor, thank you. Thank you very much. So what's up to everybody in the chat? All the haters, all the new guys. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. All right. Welcome to the 3 to 4 to 5 year ride to potentially financial freedom if you play your cards right. So I'm here to remind you guys how to play your cards right. Just, beating this dead horse, but a lot of people need to hear it again. A lot of people are new. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stick to the couple of assets that are actually going to win. Don't get distracted by meme coins. That's called shiny object syndrome. We don't want shiny object syndrome. There's going to be scammers coming out of the woodwork, shilling you. They're going to lure you into dark little corners and alleyways of the internet and say, hey, man, I got some shit coins for you over here. This one's better than PLS, and they're going to show you some like Pepe Shiba ape coin, and it's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. And then they're going to be the ones dumping on your head. Well, you give them all your precious PLS or your precious HEX or your precious PulseX. So beware of these grifters that just want to extract the maximum value out of you because you don't have the mentality. You don't have the focus to maintain a steady course and to keep your eyes on the prize and stick to the assets that you think are going to win. All right. I'm pretty sure you guys know what you think. What I think is going to win. I'm pretty sure you guys can understand. All right. It's going to be the ones on the screen right here, in my humble opinion, that are probably going to outperform 90%, probably 99% of all other cryptos. And yeah, there might be another winner that's somewhere off on some other chain, some total black swan. Nobody could see Pepe coming, but that came and went, right? Pepe came and went. All right. These other shit coins, they don't stay very long. And by the time you hear about them, after they've gone up 1,000x, if you're thinking you're going to get in at the very top and be an overnight millionaire, you couldn't be more wrong. Okay. That's how people lose in your exit liquidity. Okay. We want to play long-term games with really serious prizes. Okay. Thousands of X's of ROI are on the table if you're willing to do what everybody else in crypto doesn't do, which is literally just hold the cryptos in your hands and sit on them and don't do anything and shut up or go promote it. Better yet, you can go promote your cryptocurrency that you like and pump your own bag. It doesn't have to be getting on YouTube. It could be getting on Twitter. It could be as simple as hosting a Twitter Spaces or mailing out postcards or putting a sticker on your local stop sign in jurisdictions where that's legal. I didn't tell you to do that. Okay. So you can show your own bags and have fun in the process and win along with this winning team. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be a great 2 to 4 years where we're all going to be seeing prices, I believe, going up and to the right. Not in a straight line. Not in a straight line. All you guys expecting things just to go up and to the right forever. Well, you're going to have a little slap to reality. Good old reality is going to slap you right in the face because it doesn't go up and to the right forever. And in fact, I got to be honest with you guys. We might be we're kind of at this slowing down point. Over the past week, we've seen prices skyrocket from like almost zero, very, very, very low to very, very, very high. Now, I know PulseX is only 18% above its SAC price. I know PLS is only 2.4x above its SAC price. But if we take their all-time lows, for the people that got in at those lows, it wasn't very many people, but it was a couple. Well, they've experienced maybe a 10x already, maybe even a 13x if you bought the absolute bottom. So now is a time, in my opinion, where it's kind of a decision point. Now we need to decide with all this new money that just flowed in from the bridge, all this new money that just got across. So the bridge is basically up and running now, guys. It's up and fluid and running. And let's take a look at the bridge. All right, let's scroll down. The bridge is at 98%, as you can see right here, which means 98% of all assets have been confirmed and crossed from Ethereum to PulseChain or from PLS to Ethereum, but not many people are doing that. It's kind of a one-way diode. Yes, you can go back into Ethereum, but why would you want to? Cheaper fees, faster transactions, better pumps. It's got everything you need right here in PulseChain. It's a clone of Ethereum, guys. Full system state copy. What am I saying? Now that the multiple millions of dollars have flowed in from Ethereum to PulseChain, okay, you can see right here, how much of this is actually locked in liquidity pools? How much of all these stable coins, which could potentially be buy pressure, are locked in liquidity pools? Well, about 36%, about 39% maybe of all stable coins. Let's round that up to 40, okay? 40% of all stable coins are semi-locked, not really locked, but they're held up. They're tied up in PulseX liquidity positions. This is a good thing because this money is less likely to dump. It's less likely to go anywhere because they're earning INC token. They want to earn fees. And typically, some of these liquidity providers tend to be longer term holders. They tend to want to leave their liquidity in there as long as they're getting these incentives. Okay. And the incentives are good. The INC coin is paying out a crazy high interest rate at for particular pools. Okay. But that still leaves 60% of stable coins liquid, waiting to buy. Now, are they waiting to buy the dip? Who knows? In my opinion, a lot of them probably are waiting to buy any potential dip. Now, are they assuming that we're going to get a dip? That's the question. I don't know. Are they assuming we're going to get a dip? We've got, 40, 26, 36, 46, 50, $67 million of potential buy pressure. 60% of that is about 40 million. So we've got about $40 million. And we got to think about what are these people going to do with those $40 million? Are they going to feel comfortable buying up here? Or are they going to want to just wait for a dump? Now, like I said, we've already done potentially a 10x if you're counting from the all-time lows, right? Let's take a look. PLSX from its all-time lows, 29x technically, right? It's only 18% above sacrifice prices. But for people that bought those early couple of days, they're up potentially 30x. That's a lot. Again, not many people got that 30x, but a lot of people are in profit on PulseX. A lot of people are in profit on PLS. What are people up on PLS? If you bought the dip on PLS, you're up 8x right now. You're up 8x. So, although these are above sacrifice prices by only a little bit, they're up from their all-time lows by a lot. And so you can see this is one of the first days that we've had in the past 9 days. It's only 9 days old, guys. Got to take that into perspective. It's only 9 days old. Think long term. Think about months and years. Okay. If you're thinking about days and minutes, you're never going to make it in crypto. I'm dead serious. If you're going to be a day trader, you're not going to make it. All right. So when you're looking at charts, don't be looking at the 15-minute chart, right? Here's actually some advice that somebody told me once that is really, really, really good for people to do. So when you're looking at a chart, let's pull up a chart, okay? Let's pull up a chart or two, shall we? All right, this is a chart of the PLS die pair. And as you can see, I've already highlighted the fact that it went up 8x from the lows. That's pretty high, right? But now when you're looking at charts, a lot of people don't even know what time frame to use, what time frame of reference to use. If you're not using a daily chart, guys, you're going to have a bad time. 15-minute charts are for traders that are focused on what's happening today. If you're looking at a 15-minute chart and trying to chase pumps like that, that is a losing bet. That is not the right way to look at charts if you want to make money over the long term, okay? If you're a day trader or if you think you're a day trader, go ahead, use the 15-minute chart. We'll see how that works out for you. But it's kind of tricky on Deck Screener, on TradingView. I really don't like this. It's very insidious, right? But they default you to the 15-minute view every time, which is one of the worst views for anyone that's serious about making money in the long term. So in the 15-minute view, things could look totally hectic. You need to zoom out to the daily view, all right? The only reason that I'm right now on the 4-hour view is because PulseChain is literally 9 days old, guys. The only excuse that I have for looking at a 4-hour chart right now is because we just don't have that many candles on a daily chart. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this chart. Because again, the bridge wasn't open, right? This is PLS die, by the way. This is PLS die. So I'm using the 4-hour for now, but in a month or two, I'm going to switch to the daily. And if your frame of reference is not taking it day by day, if you're taking it minute by minute, good luck, dude. Good luck to you, sir. You're probably not going to make it. That was some pretty good advice that I got early on, just because you want to pick the time frame that coincides with your holding period. And we're holders here, okay? On this channel, we're holders. If you don't like that, go follow a trading channel. We'll see how long you last over there. Going back to the topic at hand, all right? Decision point time. We can see for the first time in 9 days, maybe about 5 days actually, that prices just aren't going straight up and to the right anymore, okay? Look at this chart here. Prices are looking to be slowing down a little bit. There's a big red candle today, and now we need to decide. All those $40 million of stable coins, they need to decide. So that's probably a lot of you guys, right? Do you think we've had a local top? Or do you think we keep pumping from here? That's what I do not know. So it just seems like the momentum is starting to slow down. And again, that's because of the bridge. Because the bridge is finally full, the momentum in upwards price on Pulse, PulseX, and HEX is slowing down a little bit. And now we need to decide if we're going to keep pumping, or if the short-term paper hand profit takers from the sacrifice are going to take profit and sell the price down. So it's basically a battle right now. It's a battle of any early sacrificers that don't have strong hands. Now, I'm an early sacrificer, but I'm not selling, okay? I've got strong hands. I know the game. Some early sacrificers, they just want a GTFO, okay? They just want to get out of here, and they don't care about, they'll take a 2x, and that's fine for them. But maybe some of them are waiting for a 3x, 4x, 5x. I don't know. Now, these sacrificers are more likely to sell the more number of X's that we do after the sacrifice ratio. Because remember, they got in at a relative price of 0.0001. And possibly with volume bonuses, maybe a little bit lower. Maybe it's 0.00008, let's say. So from their frame of reference, from the frame of reference of a sacrificer, yeah, if you're in Pulse, you've doubled your money. Congratulations. Now, is that enough for certain people to just up and walk away versus all the new buy pressure, all the stable coins that are currently liquid right now that are not tied in LPs? So it's a battle of the haves and the have-nots, essentially. Those that have Pulse and PulseX and those that do not. And again, I'm looking very short-term right now because there's nothing else to look at. Now, I wouldn't normally be so focused on this day-to-day movement. The reason that I'm focusing on it right now, hour by hour movement, right? Normally I'm focused on days and months at a time. The reason I'm drilling in and trying to decide about this short-term movement is because what have I been saying for the past year, guys? Maybe over a year, is that when new coins come out, typically there's a sell-off early on where early people that got it pre-distribution, and believe me, there's a big pre-distribution in Pulse and PulseX. It's called the sacrifice set, okay? All these people got coins early on. And typically some of those people, not all of them, but maybe let's say 40% or 30% of those people decide, hey, whatever, I made a 2x. I don't care about 1,000x. I don't care about life-changing money, generational wealth. Yeah, whatever. I just want to go buy a Lambo, and I'm gonna take my 2x. Right? Some people think like that. It's not great. It's not a good way to think. But people that got a pre-distribution typically sell off in the first couple of months. Now, with Ethereum, it happened faster than this. With other coins, it typically happens even faster. The reason that we've seen it drawn out, we've seen this, you can call it maybe a launch pump, right? The launch pump is typically pretty quick to the upside and then pretty heavy to the downside. We're talking over the course of a week or two. PulseChain's been a little bit different due to the fact that the bridge has been slower, okay? And these are all my opinions, okay? But think about it logically. Due to the fact that the bridge has been slower, it's given people more time to funnel money in. So it's basically extended what would have been a short-term pump and dump, like what happens with every new launch, right? But it's been extended because money was only able to trickle in, out of the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink was tied up to a fire hydrant. Everyone was trying to get in, but only a couple people could get in, Crypto Keeper, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm looking at putting 60K USD into PLS today. Good idea. Well, sir, I do not give financial advice. That's exactly what I'm talking about right now, though. Thank you for the tip. Basically, the decision is, do you think it's going to keep pumping, or when do you think some of those early sacrificers are going to take their profit? Again, Pulse people are at a 2.4x. PulseX people, they're only up 18%. I personally believe that we might pump a little bit more before we dip. But look at this, guys. Like, think about it this way, Crypto Keeper. If you're looking at a 2-year, 3-year time horizon, and you're imagining PLS at like 100x the prices it is now, is it really going to matter if you get in at 0.002 versus 0.001 when we're sitting at 1 penny, right? I know technically, yes, it is a 50% difference. Yes, it is. And really, it kind of does matter, but you won't be, I don't think you'll regret these early decisions as long as you're not buying like a 10x right out of the gate, right? Buying a 2x right out of the gate, probably not the worst idea ever, but just be patient, right? Just be patient. Let's see what happens over the next couple of days because there is a chance, again, people could sell off. Again, all your decisions, guys, everybody watching, everything that you decide to do, every button you decide to click is entirely your responsibility. It's no guru's job or fake guru, right? I'm just a guy on the internet. I'm just a guy on YouTube giving my opinion. So what do I talk about all the time is you need to think for yourself. You need to come up with your own conclusions. I can tell you the data, the facts, and what's going on, and I can give you my own opinion. But at the end of the day, you make the decisions and you take responsibility. So it's a tough call right now, right? It's a tough call. If you're coming in with 10 grand, that one guy's got 60 grand. That's a lot of money. Okay. Now, is there going to be a dip to buy? I still believe there will be a dip to buy. The question is, does PLS go up, another 4x from here and then we dip? Or does PLS just dip tomorrow? I think wait and see right now, because if you look at the way this parabola is kind of going, if you look at the way that it kind of almost helps, right? It's a blessing in disguise that the bridge took more time. I think it's really a blessing in disguise because if you look at the shape of this chart, it's almost starting to look like a curved parabola that's coming to basically it's growing at a slower rate than it was on day 2. Okay. Now I don't know. This could just keep pumping, right? It could just keep pumping, but we're able to kind of get the shape a little bit more now and see that now the momentum is slowing down. Now that everyone that wanted to bridge is pretty much bridged. And now we've got more of a steady trickle of economic energy coming in rather than a giant tsunami coming in, right? The tsunami already happened in terms of money flowing into PulseChain. Now we've got a steady flow, but now we just it's a battle, right? It's a battle of the haves and the have-nots, right? The people that have PulseChain versus the people that want to buy it. So I guess ask yourself, how many buyers are there out there? How many millions of dollars, $40 million versus how many people would want to sell into that $40 million of potential buy pressure? I think there's a lot more people with a lot more coins potentially than $40 million. I don't know. The total liquidity on this entire pool is only 16.8 million. That is DAI specifically. If we look at the PulseX pool, there's 210 million of liquidity. That could easily absorb $40 million of buy pressure if people wanted to dump that off, right? It could absorb that 40 million and it could keep going lower, back to sacrifice prices. What am I saying, guys? It's a roundabout way of saying I have no idea what's going on, and neither does anybody else. So isn't that the answer you wanted to hear? Probably not. Here's a thought, though. Here's a thought. Take a look at the INC token, all right? The fact that INC ripped so much it went from like $2 to $70, okay? I didn't see that coming. I thought people were going to dump INC as soon as they got it. Now, there's a little game being played where they're incentivizing the incentive token pairs, right? They're incentivizing the incentive. Hey, thank you for the tip. I'll get to that in 1 minute, Herman. Because they're incentivizing the incentive token, everyone's been locking it up and not selling it. And maybe some people have even been buying it for whatever reason. I'm not buying it personally, but I'm accumulating it and I haven't sold it yet. And that's because it just keeps going up. I don't want to sell it right now. But maybe we can look at INC as an indicator of how people are feeling in the market, right? Maybe that's a thought. Maybe when INC starts going down for once instead of going up, maybe that is a local top signal. Maybe that's the local top, because when people sell their INC, in my opinion, people are probably going to sell off their INC before selling off their Pulse and PulseX. So when people start to feel like a little bit of that profit taking urge, you might start to see INC go down, and that might be a signal of, oh, wait, now everything else is going down even more, right? Because again, this is one of the first days that things have kind of stagnated. You can actually see the PLS price is down 5%, the PulseX price is down 3%. Yeah, that's because they just went up 13x and 8x respectively. Maybe 30x, right? PLSX technically might have gone up 30x because it dipped so low. Think about that, guys. Again, things just don't go up and to the right forever. What goes up must come down, and it's not a smooth ride. Okay, this is a very hard game, and if you're looking at the chart every single day, it's a really, really hard game to play with yourself, because it's a battle of you versus you. It's just you and your own emotions, and you got to calculate what everybody else is feeling. But at the end of the day, it's how long term can you think? How can you take your own emotions out of the equation? How can you detach yourself and say, I want to buy the thing when it's not popular? It's really easy to buy the thing when it's popular. You want to know why? It's called confirmation bias. Okay. We humans, we look to other people and we say, oh, I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if it's a good idea. But, oh, look at all these green candles. Look at all these other people that wanted to buy it too. Oh, they must all know something. Then now I don't feel so bad because everyone else already bought. That confirms my bias. That's my ticket to get in. And that is how people get wrecked, okay? You need to do the exact opposite. If you have conviction that these coins aren't going anywhere and that they're long-term plays, I have conviction in that personally. You want to buy when you see big red candles, not when you see a bunch of big green candles, okay? So if I was looking to personally scale in, $50,000 right now, I'd wait right now. I would probably wait for the next couple of days and see if short-term profit takers feel like profit taking. It's really hard to say, guys. It's really hard to say. But the slower that you think, the better off you'll be. Just try not to do anything totally irrational. All right, guys. How do you get PLS if you don't have any? Let's talk about this. For everybody listening, how many of you out there have PLS? Hopefully most of you, but I know there's some people listening right now that don't have any PLS, and you're just trying to get into the network. You're just trying to get some gas fees. And the paradox of this whole thing is that if you don't have PLS to pay for gas, well, let's say you bridge some tokens in from Ethereum to PulseChain, you can't even do anything with those tokens because you don't have any PLS, right? That's the paradox. So there's two routes that I've seen that are semi-reliable. Well, one of them is semi-reliable. The other one seems to be pretty reliable. PLSfaucet.com. That's PLS-faucet.com. The link, I believe, is in the description below. Let me see. No, it's not. I put a different link in the description below. You're going to like this one. PLS-faucet.com is one. That's a community-driven platform. Okay, so the community, out of the goodness of their heart, to basically provide initial gas fees by giving you 2,500 PLS for free, but only when there's actual PLS in that address. It's not always funded, so it's not always reliable. So if you go to pls-faucet.com, you might not get your PLS right away. You might have to keep checking over and over at different times of day. Now, here's a website I found that you might all really like. Let's take a look at it. It's called eth2pls.com. Shout out to Dos Baum. I think he is the one that posted this in the Telegram channel. So eth2pls.com. Look at the screen right here. You can now send safely and efficiently. You can send a small, tiny bit of Ethereum directly for PLS, and it'll show up directly in your wallet on the PulseChain network. So there's no bridging. It's all just a contract in the back end where you send these guys 0.01 ETH, maybe 0.02, whatever you want. You pay an $8 fee. It's a little bit of a fee, right? It's a little more expensive than a typical Ethereum fee, but you get 32,000 PLS, which is more than enough to do your basic transactions. All you really need is enough PLS for that first transaction, because that first transaction can be used to swap for many PLS. And once you have 1 million PLS or more, you're probably going to be okay for as far as gas fees go. So eth2pls.com. This link is in the description below. I just found out about this recently. They've got a help support ticket over here. You can see all these people have been using it successfully, and you can actually see the proof of their transactions on both Etherscan on the Ether side and on the PulseChain side. I've looked into this. I've tested it. It works. It's not a scam. Watch this video, guys. This guy is the one behind it. And these two developers right here, they're putting up their own PLS. They're being very generous, okay? They're putting up their own PLS. Yes, they are taking a small fee, but this thing is very, very necessary, okay? They're providing a very, very necessary service because a lot of people are having this issue right now. And you can watch the video. The guys are showing their face. This guy, Crypto OG, he made the video. You can watch his video right here.
$5 because we want
talking
to let
about
people just buy
how
a little bit of PLS so that they
thing
can
works.
move their assets.
I'll pause it right now. It's the sexiest gas station in town, they call it. And you can even use a referral link to get even cheaper fees. Okay. I don't believe these guys are scamming anybody, or I believe this contract is very safe to use. Right now, they've already bridged $500,000 of USD value. They've already released over 2 billion Pulse, and they've had 150,000 people. Oh, wait, maybe that's not true. That says placeholder value. Maybe that's not true. Never mind. But yeah, it's fast and cheap. It's safe. And if you really want to be safe, guys, if you really want to be very safe, you should go to portalxswap.io afterwards. Okay, portalxswap.io, and you can revoke permissions. So what does that look like? I'll show you guys. If you want to be very, very safe, then after you use that eth2pls.com bridge to get your initial PLS, you can hop on over to portalxswap.io and you're going to go to this page first. Here it is on the screen here. It's going to come up here, and then you're going to go to revoke approvals. Okay, revoke approvals, and you connect your wallet, and then you just revoke the approvals on the website that you just connected to on eth2pls.com. So that basically just makes it so that just in case something bad happens in the future, your wallet is no longer connected to that eth2pls website. You just have to use it one time, get in, get out, revoke your approvals, and boom, you've got your gas money. You're fine. You're good to go. So there's ways. It's not super easy right now, but hey, when it's easy, guys, when it's easy to get into PLS, think about how high the price is going to be by then. When it's so easy that anyone can just buy it with one click of a button, we're probably going to be 100x at least by then, So all this kind of slowdown, this hesitation, it's all opportunity. It's just opportunity for things to get better and better. Okay. If we're this popular, guys, we're the second most popular DEX in all of DeFi. Number 2 after Ethereum on day 9. Think about that. And that's organized by DEX volume. All right. We've had more volume than Binance Smart Chain. Binance Smart Chain literally had to start faking volume and scamming volume by like spamming up their own blockchain just because they were threatened by us because we were beating them. And I think we still are beating them. Let's take a look. Well, now technically they're beating us because they're cheating, right? They're cheating, and they made a stupid contract that just generates fake volume on the DEX. What am I saying? We're successful beyond everyone's wildest imagination. People don't want this to be true. People don't want it to be this successful, but if we are number 2 right now, with the bridge being slow, with nobody being able to get any PLS, with minimal centralized exchange listings to onboard, minimal stable coins, minimal protocols. Think about when Liquid Loans launches. Think about when the Earn protocol launches. Think about when PortalX Swap launches. Think about when the Coast stablecoin launches. Think about all the future good, positive things that just haven't happened yet, but have been planned for the last 2 years. If you guys just got here, you got to know there's been projects that are planning on building on PulseChain for the past 2 years. It's just that nobody wants to deploy their smart contract. Nobody wants to deploy their smart contract on a blockchain that's only, 9 days old, right? They want the dust to settle. It's just from a security standpoint, right? You want to wait a couple weeks just to see, make sure everything's okay. Wait for the prices to stabilize. Hey, Ben, thank you for the sub. You want to wait for the prices to stabilize before you launch your giant borrowing and lending protocol, okay? We've got fiat.io. We've got Famous, right? It's an Aave fork, a GMX fork. We've got PortalX Swap, a multi-chain bridge to get from any chain, any coin into PulseChain. All roads leading to PulseChain. It's beautiful, okay? It's going to be glorious. It's only been 9 days, and we're the top volume DEX other than Ethereum. We're number 1 besides Ethereum. And it's only been 9 days, and people can't get in. The bridge is slow. It's hard to get gas. But hey, there you go, guys. I just showed you a way to get gas. ETH2PLS.com. Crypto Boogie, thank you for the tip. What's popping, coffee? Have we talked about EHEX versus PHEX if you believe parity is possible, or will PHEX just be the more valuable token? Great point. Let's talk about it right now. That was one of my many things to talk about. So much to talk about, guys. So little time, so much to talk about. Guys, I've got the screen pulled up right here. This is the EHEX to PHEX pair. Let me put it up right here. There you have it. Looking pretty okay. Oh, sorry. That's EHEX to PulseChain. My bad. Hey, Lathius, thank you for the subscription. All right. Hex, EHEX. Let's go there. EHEX, HEX. There we go. There we go. All right. Looking pretty interesting. EHEX, HEX. Here it is. Here it is on the screen before you. Behold. All right. This is, EHEX and HEX both took a dip. And that's because, in my opinion, the attention is temporarily on Pulse and PulseChain, right? PulseX and PulseChain. Everybody kind of cycles through. Their attention goes from one coin to another, but they cycle through. And as long as we keep that attention and as long as we keep that economic energy within the ecosystem, well, it's going to be okay because they're not leaving, right? As long as you just go from Pulse 1 month, PulseX the next month, maybe, August is going to be HEX month, who knows, but it's going to be a cyclical thing, in my opinion. People are going to bounce around because all these coins are good. They've all got potential, right? So yeah, of course, HEX has dipped. We've been expecting that for 2 years now. We always figured HEX would have a dip. It's gone from 3 cents to 2.3 cents. But guess what? You have 2 copies of them. So the sum of the 2 copies is actually greater than the price HEX was at before the fork. HEX was at 3 cents before the fork. Now you've got 2 hexes, both worth about 2.3 cents. Do the math. What does that add up to? It's almost 5 cents. Okay. Both hexes together, technically right now, they both add up to 4.8 cents. So congratulations. If you held before the fork, you got your copies. And now what people are doing is they're bridging their HEX from Ethereum and they're pairing it in liquidity to their HEX on PulseChain. So it's this weird world that we're living in where there's 2 copies of all coins now. Every coin on Ethereum now has a PulseChain copy. And that's confusing for a lot of people. Okay. It's confusing for me, but a lot of people are going to have a hard time coming to terms with this. Now, HEX is the guinea pig, right? HEX is the first coin to basically be like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to tie the prices together in their liquidity pairs. We're going to tie the prices together by basically putting up a ton of liquidity. Hey, thank you for the subscription, Kai. We're going to tie a ton of EHEX liquidity to PHEX liquidity. And I know it's complicated, but for the sake of the example, PHEX is just simply called HEX. When you're in the PulseChain ecosystem, we don't call it PHEX, we just call it HEX. When you're in the PulseChain ecosystem, we call it EHEX because it's a way to signify that this HEX came over from the Ethereum blockchain. Thank you, Rafa, for the sub. Thank you, whoever that was earlier. I didn't catch your name, but thank you for the subscriptions. So when you're on the PulseChain network, we don't need to call it PHEX. It's just the hex that's native to the PulseChain network. We're just calling it hex. Motoflower, thank you for the sub. But when hex came over from Ethereum, it needs to have that little E on it. See that little letter E in the top right corner? It needs to have this little letter E so that we can know where it came from. Otherwise, it would just say hex, hex, and people would be like, what the hell? What's going on? So it's like a passport, right? This little letter E is like a passport. This little E hex is from a different country. And now that it's visiting the land of PulseChain, he's got to keep his documentation on him. He's got to keep his little letter E on him so that we know that he came from the land of Ethereum. Okay. So if we want to do the ratios, we need to click. And people that don't know how to do ratios, when you're on dexscreener.com, they're going to default you to talking about the USD price. Okay. They're always going to tell you the USD price at first. We're more concerned with ratios when we're talking about keeping money in the ecosystem, doing liquidity plays, and just trying to figure out how these two liquidity bonding things are going to work. Are the prices going to be 1-to-1? Is it going to be 1.2-to-1? Is it going to be 1.1-to-1? We're going to see. Okay, it's an experiment, but it's so far so good. It's looking very, very good because number one, the EHEX hex pair is incentivized on the liquidity farms. So people are earning tons of INC right now by bridging their EHEX over and pairing it with hex on PulseChain. And right now there's literally $50 million worth of liquidity. $50 million worth. Thanks for the sub, Brandon. $50 million worth is one of the highest liquidity pools. I think this is the second highest liquidity pool on the PulseX network right now. So tons of liquidity in here, meaning if you want to swap EHEX for hex or vice versa, you're going to have minimal price impact. You could probably swap 1 million hex for like 1.1 million EHEX or something like that right now. I haven't done it yet, but I will look in a minute. So you want to click this button where it says switch to price in hex. Okay. It's in the top right corner of the screen. You want to go away from the US dollar values that it defaults you to, and you want to click switch to price in hex. You're always going to want to click that button on any pair when you're looking at the ratios, because we're not so concerned with USD value. Like I said, I think all these coins are going to go up and to the right over the long term in the next 2 years. Okay. So for right now, we want to look into the ratio, and we can see right now it looks like hex on PulseChain is a little bit cheaper. I'm sorry, no. Hex on PulseChain is a little bit more expensive than hex on Ethereum. Looks like people are selling off their hex on Ethereum, just kind of like we thought they would. We kind of always figured that people would sell off and dump their EHEX for PHEX or just hex, in this case. So we're looking at 0.91, a 0.91 ratio. Shane Phillips, thank you for the sub. Oh my God, there's so many people out here. Hey, Hex Kong, thank you for the tip as well. He wanted to let everybody know. Currently, the bridge is only 15 to 30 minutes. So yeah, it looks like the bridge is going great. It looks like the bridge is up, running smoothly. So if you guys want to bridge your tokens, now is the time. If you want to bridge your tokens, why wait? Okay. Put them in there, get them from Ethereum to PulseChain, do whatever you want to do, because it only takes 15 to 30 minutes. Thank you, Hex Kong. Thank you. All right. So in the early days, people were actually still valuing EHEX higher than hex on PulseChain. But that quickly came down, and we can see now, let's go to the 15-minute chart. It looks like things are stabilizing at around anywhere from 0.9 to 1.3 EHEX per hex. Okay. So right now, EHEX is worth 90% of hex. That's what this ratio means, 92%. So it's almost at parity. It's almost at 1-to-1, but we can still see some people are choosing to value the PulseChain hex more than hex from Ethereum. So before I do any liquidity stuff over here on this chart right here, I'm going to want to see this flat line for a little bit longer. Okay. Again, I'm on the 15-minute chart. I don't like being on the 15-minute chart. I'd much rather prefer to be on a daily chart and have, a month's worth of data to go off of at least. I don't feel very comfortable putting in liquidity for a pair that's only existed for 9 days, even if I'm getting rewarded in INC terms, like a ton. Okay. You can give me tons of INC rewards. I'm going to miss out on that for a while. Okay. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to wait a couple. at least one more week. Okay. I might FOMO in after a week or so. I just want to see this line going straight and not bouncing around a lot. Because remember, guys, liquidity providing, what do we want? If you want to liquidity provide with the lowest risk and the maximum returns, you want high volume and low volatility. Look at those volume bars on the bottom. Those are looking pretty high, right? That's good. And look at the price chart. It's kind of going sideways, right? That's really good. Those are both things that we want for making maximum returns on liquidity providing. But will this hold? Okay. It's only been like 6 hours that it's been like that. 6 hours is not enough time. Okay, guys. 6 hours is not enough time for me to make a decision. It might be for you. It's not for me. Okay. I need a couple days at least. Give me a week or two. And then I'll decide if I want to put in liquidity on the HEX pair. But it looks pretty good. It's very promising so far. The fact that things are stabilizing around, one EHEX being 92% of a PHEX. It's good. It's good. And a lot of people were expecting a 1-to-1 ratio. It might end up being more of a 1.1 to 1 or a 0.9 to 1. Okay. It might not be totally perfect all the time, right? But if you're willing to withstand a little bit of volatility, perhaps the INC token and the fees that you will generate in liquidity providing will be rewarding. Now, here's the catch. Here's the catch with HEX, guys, is you got to ask yourself, is liquidity providing on the HEX EHEX pair really going to be better than the yield that you would make from staking your HEX? So for people that don't know, with HEX, you can burn it and stake it, and it takes coins out of existence. It actually burns them. And when your stake is over, you remint your coins, but you need to fulfill all of the days that you have in your stake. Otherwise, you'll be heavily penalized. All right. Other protocols don't do that. You can pull out, if you're staked, you can pull it out whenever you want. In HEX, it's staking with consequences. All right. Serious consequences. If you pull out your stake early, you're going to lose potentially all your money. If you pull out your stake, if you serve less than half your time, you're going to be penalized out of your principal. If you serve more than half your time, you're going to be penalized out of your interest. All right. That's how HEX works. It replaces a CD at a bank. Surprisingly, that no one had done that yet, but HEX decided to do it. So it's staking with consequences, but the APY is very, very good. So let's say you want to stake for 1 year, maybe 2 years. Let's say you want to stake till 2025 because maybe that's when you think the bull market will be. Well, you might earn 21, 22% interest or yield. We call it yield, okay? Interest is not halal. We call it yield. You might earn 22% on that. So you got to ask yourself, is 22% yield better than the fees that you would generate from being part of this liquidity pair, including the INC, because you're earning fees and INC token? So I'm going to be doing an experiment, right? I'm going to be putting in some liquidity over the course of, let's say 6 months, right? I haven't decided yet, but when my stake comes due, because I'm 100% staked right now, when my stake comes due, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to put half of it in a liquidity pair and I'm going to stake the other half for, I haven't decided, maybe for 6 months. I mean, that's a very short stake. I don't like staking for that short time, but I do want to see if, the yield from HEX will actually outweigh the fees generated from liquidity providing on HEX. There's 2 ways to make money on HEX right now, potentially. And the liquidity farming one is riskier, definitely riskier in permanent loss. But it could potentially outweigh staking. I find that unlikely, right? But again, I've been wrong before. There's only one way to find out, and that's by doing it. So I need to actually do it in order to learn. I can't just sit around and speculate all day. At some point, I got to put my money where my mouth is. So in a week, I'm going to start that experiment, and obviously I'll keep you guys up to date on the yield that I've earned from staking versus the yield that I've earned from liquidity providing. And hopefully we can all learn together. Hopefully we can all learn together, guys. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. No, I'm not Muslim, but I do respect the religion. Coffee, how much more viewers on your streams and PulseChain? Oh my God, we've got 950 people here. Guys, Crypto Cheesy, thanks for bringing this up. We've got 950 people here. So, dang. Wow. How many of you guys are new? Hey, guys, if you're new in the chat and you want to ask a question, it's okay. I won't make fun of you. I understand there's a lot of new people here. Don't be afraid to ask what you might think is a stupid question. Just don't ask me, how much HEX should I buy? I don't like answering those questions. I don't give financial advice, but if you've got a question that's not how much do I need to buy? Like, come on, guys. Some of these things you got to make your own decision. But if you want to know how something works or what do I think is going to happen, what am I speculating on? Feel free to ask, and I promise I won't be mean. If you're asking me how much HEX to buy, I'm just going to ignore you, okay? I don't answer those questions. But yeah, feel free. Where does the sack go? Not to you, Sandy B. Not to you. Let's see. Hit the sub, then ask. You just can't help but laugh. My portfolio is back to what it was 6 months ago. All the DCAing, LMAO, I love it. This is crypto, diamond hands, baby. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? It's months worth of gains, of losses can literally be erased in a 2-week time period. Months worth. Crypto is the most volatile asset in the world. But guys, what do we say? The price you pay for the mad gains is extreme volatility. The price you pay for the world's highest appreciating asset is the fact that it goes up and down extremely high and extremely low. And a lot of people don't have the stomach for it, but you got to realize if you're in the crypto game, this is the game that we're playing. All right. This is the game that we're playing. So what do I have my eye on right now? What ratios do I have my eye on? I'm looking at PulseX. I'm looking at PLS. I'm looking at PulseX DAI. I'm looking at PLS DAI. I'm looking at PulseX Pulse. I'm looking at HEX Hex. And I'm actually looking at HEX PulseX right now. I don't think a lot of people are looking at a potential opportunity for potentially a price mismatch between HEX and PLSX. So, I might swap some PulseX for HEX because I think, PulseX might be overvalued relative to HEX. HEX has been going down a little bit and PulseX has been going up a lot. And when that happens, if you want to do a little ratio trading, I know it's very dangerous. Most of you shouldn't. Okay. But if you want to, do a little tit for tat, little movements, little, roll one thing into the other thing, that means that you can't be chasing the pumps. You have to respect that PulseX went up 30x and say, okay, well, PulseX went up 30x. HEX went down 33%. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to flip a little PulseX into HEX. What do I know? What does little old crypto coffee know? I don't know anything. This could go terribly wrong. If I swap PulseX for HEX, HEX could just keep dumping and PulseX could just keep ripping. But PulseX is showing a lot of strength right now. HEX is showing a little weakness right now. And PulseChain has just been steady climbing. Pretty nice. So what does that mean, guys? If you want to do tiny little, 5% of your bag, 10% of your bag, little tiny ratio trades, again, you take responsibility for those, right? Those might not go your way. But I'm noticing PulseX is looking a little strong. HEX is looking a little weak. So I've got my eye on that ratio. Okay, wink, wink. Got my eye on that one. REN Crypto. RNG Crypto. Thank you for the tip, RNG Crypto. Swap PLS HEX, PLSX. What's the play? Also, I want 10,000X still a thing. Seems tough at current market cap. What am I missing? Okay, well, cool. A couple of things there. So I just told you basically that HEX to PulseX, PulseX into HEX, to me personally, kind of looks attractive. I do have a liquidity position open on. Hey, Gothic Light, thank you for the sub. I do have a liquidity position open on PulseX, but again, be prepared for impermanent loss. Get ready to see your PulseX balance go down and your PLS balance go up. Okay. Get ready to see that if you're watching the computer every day, but that's impermanent loss for you. It's only permanent when you remove your liquidity position. It's impermanent because it's only a paper loss until you remove your liquidity position. So be prepared that if you're going to do liquidity on PulseX, you might end up with a lot more Pulse and a lot less PulseX. And when PulseX is going up, you might start to get scared. You might get FOMO. But if you believe that it's going to come back down and equalize and be range bound within, 2 to 4-ish, I believe that I'm hoping that Pulse and PulseX bounces around in a 2 to 4 ratio, right? Between 2 PulseX per pulse and 4 PulseX per pulse. Might not happen, but that's what I want to see in my liquidity pair. So that's a play you could make. Ken, totally up to you. I had a person in my chat the other day or earlier today say that they didn't like the fact, that they saw their PulseX balance going down at the expense of their PLS balance. Their PLS was going up, but their PulseX was going down in their liquidity pair. I'm like, well, that's what happens, right? Because when everyone's buying PulseX using PLS, you're giving them your PulseX and they're giving you their PLS. You're providing liquidity for them. You're taking the opposite side of the trade. So if everybody's buying PLSX using Pulse, then you're going to end up with more PLS and less PulseX because you're the one that they're taking the money from. They're taking your PulseX and they're giving you their PLS. Now, when things go the opposite direction, the exact opposite happens. They give you their PulseX and you give them your PLS. From the perspective of a liquidity provider, that's what's happening. But right now, yeah, I don't really see any great swaps on the table, maybe except for maybe PulseX into HEX. Other than that, I mean, look, enjoy the ride if we keep pumping, but if we sell off, you got to mentally prepare yourself right now that we could sell off, because I've been saying that for 2 years. You know, when things launch, early guys dump sometimes. And if a lot of the early guys decide to start selling Pulse and PulseX for USD, that's going to crash all three of these tokens because they're all bonded together by their liquidity. And you can see here, like if you have all these charts side by side up next to each other, look at the HEX chart, look at the PLS chart, look at the PulseX chart, okay? They all are going up and down together. You can see that we had a red candle on PulseX. We had a red candle on HEX. We had a green candle on PulseX, a little bounce back. We had a green candle on HEX. This is actually playing out kind of exactly the way we want it to. The more liquidity is in these three pairs, that just means that nobody ever has to leave the pairs. You don't have to dump it for USDC. You can instead swap it into the other coin. You can shift the ratios around between HEX, Pulse, and PulseX without hurting the US dollar price. You only hurt the US dollar price when you dump a coin for US dollars. The US dollar price is just the US dollar ratio. Think about that. We talk about ratio trading. It's all ratio trading. Everything is ratio trading. It's just that the most common ratio that people like to see is, you know, their coin to USD, you know, PLS to USD. People don't consider that a ratio, but yeah, that's a ratio too. And the USD price only goes down technically when things are swapped and dumped for USD. You know, if you quote unquote dump PulseX for HEX, well, the prices don't technically go down. They just change in relation to each other. They change in relation to each other. So when we derive the USD price, yeah, it might go up and down, but they really just change in one PulseX is now worth, you know, one HEX is now worth 200 PulseX, or one HEX is now worth, you know, 150 PulseX. So it's kind of how that goes. Also, is 10,000X still a thing? Well, look, you got to realize that when we say 10,000X, you don't just take your bag and multiply it by 10,000. Okay. We need a standard way to measure pumps. And if we do it differently for every coin, if we treat every coin differently, then it doesn't make any sense. Okay. So the way that people measure movements, a standard way to do it is you go from the absolute bottom to the absolute top. So if you measure HEX from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, in the last bull cycle, it did a 10,000X. But it doesn't mean you're going to experience 10,000X. Okay, get that out of your head. You're not going to get a 10,000X. In reality, like what I got, I think was about a 3,000X or a 2,000X. You know, it was amazing, right? Life-changing money. But it's not exactly 10,000, right? The only reason that we say 10,000 is because it's technically true going from bottom to top. And people are like, oh, well, that's cheap. You're just counting the lowest day and the highest day, and no one actually got that. Yeah, of course. But guess what? If you just cherry pick dates for any coin, if you just say, oh, well, I got in here and there, so that should be the number of X's. We need a standard way to measure the success of a coin on a chart. So we need a standard way, and we need to treat all charts the same. So yeah, is a 10,000X possible? Yes. But think about this, right? PulseX dipped 90%, and then it went back up to, you know, 1118, 18% over sacrifice. Now, for the sacrificers, they're up 18%. On paper, it already did a 10X, which means PulseX only needs to go up 100 more X for it to technically have done a 10,000X. Technically, it probably will do a 10,000x if it goes up 100x from here. If it goes to 1 penny, if PulseX goes to 1 penny, it has done a 10,000x. Sorry. If PulseX goes to 10 cents, it has done a 10,000x. Now, will that happen? Yeah, maybe 3-4 more years from now. PulseX might go to 10 cents. But you got to realize that when we take those early days, like what literally just happened 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we're measuring from the absolute bottom. No, very few people caught that absolute bottom, and very few people are going to have the stones, the diamond hands to hold that. And again, if they hold that to the next peak, what are the odds of them selling the next absolute top, right? So 10,000 X's are still a thing. They're still possible. We can see right now, if PulseX goes to 10 cents, it's done a 10,000 X. Now, you're saying it seems tough at the current market cap. So that's a common misconception. A lot of people get that wrong. Market cap doesn't matter, okay? You think it matters because CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko and scammy websites have made you think it matters, okay? They've brainwashed everybody into thinking that market cap somehow has anything to do with price. If I want to make a coin with a high market cap, what can I do, guys? All market cap is total supply times price. What can I do? I can print 1 million coins. I can print 1 million coins. I can make my own shitcoin tomorrow. There's 1 million coins, and then I could sell one to you for $1. Okay? Well, the last price that I sold it to you at was $1, but I only sold 1 coin, and there's 1 million coins out there. So what's the market cap? All those coins times $1. Oh, look at that. The market cap is 1 million. Yay. It's $1 million market cap. But that's kind of cheap, right? Because that doesn't really matter, because all those other coins that haven't even moved are not liquid. Okay. So what really matters to you is liquid supply, not total supply. The only thing that matters is how much supply is actually for sale. All right. When it comes to PLS, 90% of the coins are owned by the origin address. They're not going to get sold. They're just going to lock up and sit there forever. And that's to try to prove to people that market cap is a vanity metric. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now people are learning this the hard way because they misconstrue the fact that, oh my God, there's trillions of coins. How could it possibly get to 10 cents? It would have a market cap of quadrillions. And it doesn't matter. Yes, it can have a market cap of quadrillions because it's not about how many coins exist. It's about how many are for sale. You know, when you go to a store and you try to buy a banana, you only care about the price of the banana as it relates to the amount of bananas in the store. Okay. How many bananas are for sale and what are people willing to pay for it? Price is all that matters. You're not asking how many bananas exist in the entire world and all the banana farms on all the banana trees. What's the market cap of every banana that exists on planet Earth? No, you're more so asking how many bananas are actually ripe and ready for sale. How many are actually for sale in the storefront, and how much are people willing to buy that? Supply and demand is really liquid supply and demand, okay? Not total supply. So people are way too concerned with the total supply when they don't realize that typically, especially in HEX and PulseChain and PulseX, 90% of the coins are locked up and it will never move. They just sit there forever. They're dormant, okay? Just like Satoshi owns 1 million Bitcoin that have been dormant for 12 years. Yet somehow those are counted in the market cap, right? Should they be? Well, maybe, debatably. Technically, they're part of the total supply. But he's got 1 million coins that just sit there. They're not for sale. You'll never see them. So people wrongly think that in order to move the market cap up, let's say you have $1 trillion market cap, they think that it requires another $1 trillion to double the market cap. That's not true at all. It's not true at all. The price is only dictated by supply and demand on what is actually for sale. So if I have something with $1 trillion market cap, I don't have to inject $1 trillion more dollars to double the market cap. Does that make sense? Market cap is not a metric of how much money is flowing into the system. It's a measure of total supply times price. Okay. So you can have a crap ton of dormant coins, which is what Pulse and Hex do, to try to, game the market cap up to make people realize it doesn't matter. And then as long as that has a price, well, if you multiply the price times all those coins, yeah, the market cap looks really big, but it doesn't matter. You can't make money on the market cap chart. So, a lot of people look through like, oh, what are these small cap gems? I got to find the small cap gems, thinking that means that there's a lot of room to grow. That's not really true. It's kind of a logical fallacy. Now, people will make their market caps and they'll try to adjust them accordingly because it's a common meme that people think matters. So they'll make their coin with a purposely low market cap at first, and they'll try to say, oh, look, it's a low market cap coin. Look at all the potential. Really, the only thing that matters is buying and selling. Buying makes the price go up. Selling makes the price go down. And how many of these coins are actually for sale, right? So, I mean, theoretically, you could just game any market cap of any coin by printing as many as you want and just leaving them dormant, or burning as many as you want and, lowering the market cap if you wanted to. And some people do that, right? Some people do that. I hope that made sense. Market cap doesn't matter. Buying and selling matters. People buying the price up is what matters. Exchanges and coin ranking websites, they don't like this. They don't like this, which is why they've purposely gate-kept HEX and PulseChain probably off of their rightful positions in market cap. We're trying to show that market cap is a bad metric to measure coins by. It doesn't make any sense. You can't make money on it, and it's not an accurate representation of how popular the coin is. A better metric is basically on-chain volume, on-chain transactions, and price. And it's more so recent, right? So let's say you take the last 3 months of on-chain volume and multiply that by the price. That's kind of a better idea than market cap, isn't it? Because technically you can see how active is this coin recently. Has it been, because if it's been dormant for a while, then that metric goes down, right? But is it recently active, and how is the price doing? And that's what people care about. You want a coin that a lot of people are into, that a lot of people are getting into, and that the price has gone up a lot or is going to go up a lot. But really, market cap has nothing to do with that. HEX was a perfect example. The market cap of HEX on paper right now? Let me see. Show you the market cap of HEX. HEX did a 10,000x in the last bull market with a fully diluted market cap of $13 billion. $13 billion. And that's from Etherscan. That's blockchain data that can't lie. Blockchain data cannot lie. So there's $13 billion, which is the total supply of HEX times the current price of HEX. Today, $13 billion would put HEX at number 9. No, sorry, number 6. Number 7. HEX would be ranked number 7 if it wasn't gate kept, because if all we're doing is multiplying total supply by price, then yeah, it's 13 billion. It goes right after XRP. But no, CoinMarketCap doesn't like that. They don't want to admit that Bitcoin's got a bunch of dormant coins from Satoshi. Ethereum's got a bunch of dormant coins locked up in the Ethereum Foundation. Tether's got a crap ton of dormant coins locked up by the Tether company. Binance themselves have a bunch of locked up BNB. They own 90% of BNB. You bet your ass they're counting all their BNB in their market cap supply. Of course they are. They want to pump their numbers up. They want to make themselves look good. They don't want a competitor like PulseChain or HEX. You got to realize that these coin ranking sites, CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance. They want to promote their ecosystem. There's a conflict of interest here, right? It's very obvious. It's a conflict of interest where Binance owns CoinMarketCap. So of course they're going to show their crap coins. They're going to push their BNB token to number 4. CZ owns 90% of the coins, but yeah, he's going to count all of them in the market cap. It's arbitrary. It's whatever makes them look good. It's, victory goes, or history is written by the winner, right? So that's the unfortunate truth right now, but you got to look under the hood a little bit for the real data, the real on-chain metrics that can't be lied about. Man, I went off on a rant there. Thank you for the tip, RNG Crypto. Voltaire says, what should I be doing with staked HEX on PChain? You just chill, man. I mean, if your HEX is staked, you got to just relax and wait for the stake to be done. You don't do anything after you stake HEX. You just wait. I mean, when your stake is done, you collect the yield. Thank you for the $2 tip. Yeah, you don't do anything with staked HEX. It sits there and you earn more interest on it, more yield on it. And it's great. It's awesome. I've got a staking ladder up to 15 years. My HEX is 100% staked right now personally. Hey, 30K subs. Thank you guys. Did that happen just on this stream? We've got over 1,000 people watching. Thank you, Hex Kong, for the 30K subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, what else do we got here? Man, I've been ranting about market cap for a while. Let's see. If your HEX is staked, go outside, do backflips, or meet women. Yeah. When your HEX is staked, that's usually a good option. You can meet women. You can go to the gym. You can eat healthy. You can go travel, hang out with some friends, go call your mom. That's what you do. Let's see. Is there a legit faucet yet? Yeah, dude. Jono, just go watch the beginning of this video. Go to eth2pulse.com. eth2pulse.com. ETHTOPLS.com. You can exchange a tiny little bit of Ethereum for a tiny little bit of PLS. And it's all taken care of for you. There's no bridge necessary. It's pretty good. These guys are reliable. They're not scammers. They've got tons of successful transactions. And I tested it out. It worked for me. And I didn't lose any money. So eth2pls.com. Don't forget, revoke privileges from PortalX swap.io when you're done. Revoke your privileges when you're done. Yeah, lift heavy stuff. Pick some things up and put them back down again. View count is awesome. Chat is remarkably calm and clear. Yep, that's what me come to my channel. You get the best and the brightest. You got people that actually want to learn. We don't tolerate dummies in here. This is a high IQ channel, guys. This is a high IQ channel. Thank you all for coming. You're in the right place at the right time. Stantu, Elena. Thank you for the €5. Thank you for the 5, actually GBP. Okay. I have all of the coins, Pulse, PulseX, PHEX, EHEX, and incentive. How do I sell them in the future to actually make money? Well, I mean, you would just go to PulseX, the website, right? PulseX.com. You sell them for a stable coin, right? Sell them for, let's say, USDC or DAI. Maybe USDC, right? Because it's a little bit easier. Then you bridge your DAI back from PulseChain into Ethereum again, and you just go out the way you came in. You leave the way you came in. So you sell your Pulse for, let's say, USDC. You bridge your USDC back to Ethereum using pulseramp.com. Then you take that USDC, you transfer it to your exchange account. You probably have an exchange account, right? In order to get into crypto, you need to have your entry point into crypto, unfortunately, needs to be from a centralized middleman. A lot of people in the States use Coinbase. I know Kraken is also very popular. Crypto.com is very popular. I would try to stick to those three if you can. Depending on what country you're from, those might not be available, but I like Coinbase, Kraken, or what did I say? Crypto.com. Maybe Gemini, maybe. I don't love Gemini, but yeah, so you got your USDC, right? It's over on Ethereum. You send it from your MetaMask wallet on Ethereum into your exchange account on Coinbase. And your exchange account is linked up to your bank account, right? You have to link your bank account to your exchange account in order to get money into the crypto world. So once your USDC is back on the centralized exchange, you swap it for direct USD and you just deposit it in your bank from that point, from that centralized exchange point, because that's what touches your bank account. So good point, though. We gotta make money. We gotta take some profit eventually, right? Hey, maybe one day, what if I told you you wouldn't have to take profit at all one day? Because maybe one day a lot more stores are going to start accepting crypto for merchants, for goods and services. If you want to know what I'm talking about, check out bitrefill.com, bitrefill.com. You can buy all kinds of gift cards with crypto. You can buy Amazon, Uber, Grubhub, subscriptions to Netflix, gift cards to the Apple Store. You pay with crypto. And that never has to leave the crypto ecosystem. They give you an address, you send them some crypto, and they give you what you want. So you can buy a $500 Uber gift card, and you could have free rides all around the city for the next 2 months. Or you could get Uber Eats, right? You get food delivery. And you technically never have to go back out through your bank account. So that's kind of a cool, and in the future, maybe there's going to be a lot more services like that, right? Best asset to bridge over as far as value? Well, I mean, if you want to buy any coin, I'd say probably just bridge over stable coins. There might be some opportunities with, Ethereum bridged in ETH, but yeah, if I was bridging and buying right now, I would be bridging stable coins, either USDC or DAI. I don't love USDT, but recently there's been a lot of FUD with USDC, surprisingly. So we will see about that. Archie, thank you so much. I can't believe I got 30K. Hey, 30K is nothing on the way to 100, right? We're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up, boys. What token are the LP fees paid? What token are the LP fees paid to you when you provide liquidity? Where can you see what you made in fees? Oh, so good question. Basically, the fees are going to be paid in both tokens on whatever pair you're providing liquidity for. Let's do an example, okay? Let's take the PulseX liquidity pair. Let's say you put up liquidity on the PulseX pair, right? Now, when people want to buy PulseX, they have to pay their fee in PLS, and vice versa. When people want to buy Pulse in that pair, they have to pay a tiny little bit of PulseX as a fee. So when people are paying their PLS fee to buy PulseX, or they're paying their PulseX fee to buy PLS, both of those fees get directed to you. So you get fees in the form of both tokens, right? Now, where can you see what you made in fees? So this is a good point right here. If anybody wants to provide this service right here, this is something that I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen an easy way to calculate how much you've made in fees. Now, PulseX will show you currently how much PLS you have locked up in there and how much Pulse in there. Thank you for the sub, Manny Cake. So PulseX, the DEX, will show you how much Pulse you have left in that pool and how much PLSX you have left. Thanks for the sub, Rambo. It's going to show you how much Pulse and PulseX you have. So you need to do the math yourself and basically say, okay, at this US dollar price, how much PulseX do I have in dollars and how much Pulse do I have in dollars? Okay. So those two things will add up to eventually, hopefully, higher than what you put in. Now, it's not going to necessarily just be profitable right away, right? Remember, impermanent loss? Don't expect to be profitable right away on day one of liquidity providing. But as the prices bounce around within a range, remember, we want them to bounce around and stay range bound. The lower volatility there is and the higher volume there is, the more fees you're going to make. But you don't just expect to, put in liquidity on day one and then you check tomorrow and then you're profitable. You're going to earn INC every day if you pick the right pairs. And that INC reward's pretty nice. That's like $70 per INC right now. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But so you're going to have a little INC profit to offset your impermanent loss. But that's the risk you take as a liquidity provider. You take the risk of impermanent loss and you have to live with the fact that prices are volatile and temporarily you're going to have more of the less popular coin and less of the more popular coin. Every single day, and you're really FOMOing or you're really fudding yourself on it, you might not like it. And that's why I say, 90% of people are better off just buying and holding the coins. Maybe 95% of people. But if you want to test out liquidity providing and see how that works, really the best way to learn is just by doing it yourself. Do it with a really, really small amount, and you get to see what impermanent loss looks like. Okay. You get to see. You're going to end up with more of one less expensive coin and less of a more expensive coin temporarily, right? And then as the prices flip-flop, and let's say PulseX becomes popular next month and everybody wants to dump their PLSX. Sorry, let's say PLS becomes popular next month and everybody wants to dump their PulseX. Well, then you're going to have impermanent loss in the opposite direction. You're going to lose PLS and you're going to get a lot more PulseX. But you might not like that because you might be scared because you're getting more PulseX, but the USD price of PulseX is going down. You're always going to be getting, like, the coins that you're getting are always going to be shifting, and you're going to be getting more of the coin that's going down in price at the time, and you're going to be getting less of the coin that's going up in price at the time. You just need to have conviction and faith that the prices are going to ping pong around and they're going to ebb and flow, up and down, and come back. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they stay within that range bound liquidity, range bound ratios. That's what I'm talking about. I'm really trying to get this through to people. You're not going to be profitable overnight. Okay. You're not going to be profitable in anything overnight. I don't care what people tell you. I don't care what trading courses they're going to try to sell you out there. It doesn't work. Okay. David Greenwood. Any idea how much PLSX is locked up by the founder? Yeah, about 90%, probably. Maybe 85. I don't know. Maybe roughly. I haven't actually checked. I haven't done the official math. But roughly 90 to 80%, probably. Definitely more than 80. Thank you for the tip, David. Yeah, some people don't like that. Some people don't like the fact that the origin address has locked up a lot of coin or owns a lot of coins. They're not actually locked up. Technically, they're all liquid. Technically, the origin address could dump them at any time. So if that's scary to you, you're not in the right place. But if you have faith that, for example, the origin address owns about 90% of HEX, right? HEX is about 3.5 years old. What has the origin address done with those coins? Absolutely nothing. Look, if you were the origin address, would you be interested in wrecking your own project? Would you be interested in market selling and dumping all of your 90% of coins and ruining everyone's life and ruining your own project? Let's say you're already very, very wealthy. Let's say you're Richard Hart and you're a multi-millionaire, debatably even a billionaire. Do you really care about trying to extract more money from plebs, from the common man? Do you really care about trying to screw everybody over and nuke your own project and ruin your reputation and potentially go to jail? Do you really want to do that? So basically, the people that are worried about this don't understand that the founder, who debatably may or may not own most of the coins, actually gives a crap about his project. He actually wants it to succeed. And the best possible thing in order for it to succeed is to let the free market play out and to not dump his coins on your head. But hey, you know what? Guess what, guys? Guess who dumped on your head? Charlie Lee from Litecoin sold all of his Litecoin, dumped it on your head. If you bought Litecoin, it sucks. If you bought Litecoin, Charlie Lee, the founder, the guy that's supposed to be the #1 cheerleader for Litecoin, he decided, well, screw this. I'm rich. Fuck all you guys. Dump on your head. Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik Buterin dumped millions of dollars worth of Ethereum on your head at the top of the last bull cycle. No one's talking about that. Why is nobody talking about that? Richard Hart never sold a single coin. Never sold a single HEX. Probably won't sell Pulse. Probably won't sell PulseX. That's the gamble I'm taking. He could. Just like Vitalik did. Just like Charlie Lee did. Just like Dan Larimer did. How many projects has Dan Larimer ran through right now? He runs through his projects like, I'm not even going to say it. He doesn't care. Dan Larimer, people don't know who he is. BitShares, EOS. He just hops around. What else? Steam It. This guy, this founder, somehow nobody vilifies him. But every single project he started, he abandoned. And then he dumps the coins on your head. And all those, if you look at the price charts of all those coins that he founded, down into the right. So all this worry, all this FUD. Oh my God, Richard owns most of the coins. Guess what? All the founders own a giant freaking bag of their coins. Satoshi owns 1 million coins. What if Satoshi wakes up out of the dead? What if zombie Satoshi comes back and dumps 1 million coins on the market? Oh my God, the Bitcoin price goes to like $20. We can talk about imaginary horribles all day long. We can just make crap up. We can make up fan fiction narratives if that's what you guys want. People like to do that. People just like to make shit up in their head. Excuses as to why they don't want to be rich. They don't want to join the winning team. So have fun. Have fun. All right, guys. Where are we at? Hexakin Greenhorn. What's up, dude? Hexakin gang. Yeah, Vitalik dumped. Let me look up Vitalik sell ETH. Vitalik Buterin regularly sells Ethereum. Even amid this uncertainty, Buterin regularly sells his stash via his coin exchange, Kraken. In 2019, Vitalik Buterin transferred 92,000 ETH worth $11.5 million from a single wallet to the exchange. That's your hero, guys. That's your hero, Vitalik Buterin, dumping on your head. Congratulations. Come on, guys. Do better. Learn something. I hope you learned something here. Hey, Coffee, can you go over INC pools? Any you would recommend? Dude, just watch my last video, man. I really, I don't want to go over all this again, but Marco, I want to help. So just watch my last video and I talk about all that. If you're thinking WPLS HEX, could be good. Could be good. Just prepare for in the short term, prepare to have more HEX and less PLS. Because I believe in the short term for that particular pair, all the attention is kind of on Pulse and PulseX right now. People are kind of sleeping on HEX a little bit, in my opinion. So it might be a couple weeks until some of the money flows back into HEX, right? Again, these are all kind of going to be rotational, seasonal, if you will. Potentially. I don't know. No crystal ball, not financial advice. But if you provide liquidity on PulseHex, if you're checking your screen every day and you're worried, oh my God, I lost some Pulse and now I have more HEX, but HEX isn't worth as much and Pulse is worth more. That's called impermanent loss, bro. So just be prepared. But look, man, the Pulse HEX pair in the long term seems pretty good to me. It doesn't seem that bad in the long term, right? We're talking about 6 to 12 months. Do you think we'll go below sacrifice prices again? I remember you saying the first 46 days of HEX were very volatile. Well, so Audrey, the 46 days thing was when Ethereum reached its low after the ICO. Ethereum ICO'd at 31 cents and reached its low at like 15 cents about 46 days after its existence, which is where I got my estimation of, 46. Let's wait 1 to 2 months after Pulse launches and see if we have a dip somewhere in between that 30 to 60 day window. Could be wrong, but I'm just looking at history. Okay. History sometimes tends to repeat itself. Sometimes. Do you think we'll go below sacrifice prices? That is hard to say. That's really hard to say. It's okay. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. I know a lot of people out there disagree. K4K crypto, love you, K4K, but I know he disagrees with me about this. So objectively speaking, the PulseX sacrifice phase was longer and more people got in. A larger number of people got into the PulseX sacrifice phase because not only was it longer, but it happened after the PLS sacrifice phase. So it happened after the PLS sacrifice phase. So everybody had FOMO that they didn't get into PLS, and it was longer. So more people had time to get into PulseX. So you got to, in my opinion, you kind of have to ask yourself this ratio of just just numbers wise, number of human beings. How many more people are in PulseX versus Pulse? That have big bags of Pulse versus PulseX, big sacrifice bags. Well, I think the PulseX sacrifice phase was about 40 days, 42 days. And I think the PulseChain sacrifice phase was 2 weeks. So the PulseX sacrifice phase was roughly 3 times longer than PulseChain. Plus, when you include the fact that it came afterwards and everybody had already heard about PLS but didn't get in it, well, roughly, if 3x more people got into Pulse than PLS, then maybe shouldn't roughly PulseX be 3 times less expensive than PLS, assuming that everyone kind of wants to. And I know that's a super rough calculation, guys. That's not like a scientific thing, but think about it. The sacrifice set for PulseX is roughly 3 times as large as it is for PLS. So there's got to be some equalization. There's got to be some distribution or redistribution where PLS flows into people that want PulseX, or PLS flows into PulseX holders' hands because they don't have any yet. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. And yeah, you can say, oh my God, PulseX is up so high right now. But think about all those people, those PulseX holders that still don't have their big bag of Pulse yet. And also when people come in, just for history's sake, right? I like to look at history. And you might say, okay, this time it's different. This time it's different, right? Heard that one before. Never in history, as far as I'm aware, have we seen in the near term, I'm talking the first year maybe, have we ever seen a layer 1 token outperform the DEX token in terms of ROI? Okay. Objectively speaking. Sure, this time it's different. Sure. I'm going to go with history. Okay. That's just how I like to look at things. I've been in crypto for 8 years. A lot of things kind of repeat each other. So yeah, you can get excited about PulseX buy and burn. I'm very excited about PulseX. Not trying to bash it. I'm just saying that I believe that PLS will remain higher than 1 PulseX. And I also believe it will probably outperform price-wise in the very near term, like the first year. Could be wrong. Okay. Could be this time it's different. But what do I know? All right. Charles Stark, thank you for the 2,000 yen. Hey, buddy. Chad from Japan here. Hey, welcome. Greetings from Chicago. Good to see you. This has been amazing so far. Just woke up. Give us a guess on when/if single side staking is coming and what the APR might be Take care. Thank you for the 2,000 yen. Good question. So if I was the developers and Richard, I probably would want to launch single-sided staking after a dip. Personally, I don't know. Just speculating here. He could launch it, right now and just keep that pump going. But launching single-sided staking essentially gives everybody another reason to buy PulseX or to ape into PulseX. Single-sided staking is essentially where you stake your PulseX in return for any third-party tokens. Could be anything, right? Just random crap coins. It doesn't matter. If you look at the earn section on PulseX, you could see it right there, but it's empty right now. So look at the earn section, look at pools, and you can see PulseX pools. Now, what does it say right under that? Stake PulseX and earn other tokens. It's as simple as that. So back on the testnet, we had a bunch of random coins that you could stake your PulseX. You could earn PulseX rewards. So this is probably coming to PulseX in the very near future, I would guess. But if I was a betting person, I would say maybe if I was the one in control, maybe I would wait until the people start to sell off their PulseX a little bit. And I would go, boom, release the PulseX pools. Revive PulseX, release the pools, right? Because again, that's going to give people a lot of buy pressure in the PulseX. It's very, very bullish for PulseX, but it's a matter of when is it going to launch? I don't know. I would say maybe in a couple weeks or months, but I'd be more confident about it launching if the prices took a little dip, personally. So I hope that's good enough answer, but I really don't know. Neither does anybody else. All right. David Greenwood, with only 20% tradable and 80% locked by Richard. Well, debatably Richard. With pools and staking and the whales, PulseX will go to the moon. Thank you, Coffee. Hey, no problem. Yeah, so we've got a lot of whales with diamond hands, We've got potentially a large holder. Might not be. It might be a group of people. It might not just be Richard only. Who knows? It might be multi-sig. I have no idea. We could speculate all day long. I don't know if we'll ever know, but yeah, we know that this 80% or more is pretty diamond-handed. I mean, it seems like a safe bet to me. And if you don't believe that, maybe just don't buy Pulse, right? But yeah, with the pools coming out, with the staking, with the HEX staking, PulseX staking, liquidity locking, think about all the people that are just locking in liquidity right now to earn INC. And the whales that have been trained to have diamond hands anyway. Guys, all these things together create the perfect storm of diamond-handedness, right? I don't think there's a lot of people in this ecosystem that haven't already learned what works in crypto, which is, come on, guys, long-term holding, not trading, not short-term day trading, not shiny object syndrome, not chasing the pump of the week, the meme coin of the week, not listening to the fake gurus that are going to have a new little meme coin for you today. They give you that little hit of copium, right? Hopium. And they're going to give you that little hit. You got that carrot on the stick. And you're just like, oh, what do I buy next? Please tell me altcoin daily. What shitcoin do I buy? What are you going to dump on my head next, Mr. Daily? We don't do that here. So yeah, David, thanks for the tip. I'm so bullish as well because the people in this ecosystem are just built different, right? We've been through a lot with HEX. We understand what works. We're in it for the long haul. Now, yeah, some of the sacrifice set is going to be paper hands. That's okay. If you want your 2X, hey, dump it right now. Take your 2X. Congratulations, buddy. Congrats on your 2X. We'll see you in 6 months after you spend it all. But yeah, no, we do things differently here. Jackie Wilson, hey, Coffee, will PulseX have single-sided staking and what would be the benefits? Yes, I believe eventually it will. When that happens, I have no idea. The benefits are that it's a way to lock up PLSX. So again, that takes more sell pressure off the table for PulseX. And you, as a holder of PulseX, can go ahead and stake your PulseX and earn a third-party token. Now, what those tokens are going to be, that's anybody's guess, right? I'll take any kinds of free tokens. I'll take any free tokens. I might dump some of the free tokens that I get from staking, single-sided staking, but I'll take them if they're free. Might dump them. I cannot promise that I won't just dump anything that I get from PulseX staking. But it's not going to be like earning more PulseX. It's going to be, it could be. I guess it could be. It's more likely going to be that you're earning random third-party tokens. And for people that don't know, in the testnet V2, way back in the day, 8 months ago, 1 year ago, there was a voting contract as well. So PulseX holders will potentially get to vote on which coins are offered up for single-sided staking in the PulseX pool section on app.pulsex.com. So that's pretty cool, right? You get to potentially have an influence on what coins you want to be rewarded in, potentially, right? It's not here yet. It's not here yet, but keep waiting. When do you think Richard Hart stream? If you had 5K to either PLS, okay, this is 2 questions. When do I think Richard Hart stream? Well, word on the street is that he's streaming with Crypto Man Ran. I don't know if you guys follow that guy on YouTube. Crypto Man Ran. He may or may not make an appearance on that next, on whatever live stream he does next. If I had 5K to either PLS or PulseX, which one would you choose? I can only choose one. And when we'll be able to buy and see dollar amount on MetaMask. The dollar amount on MetaMask is tricky. They have to, or you might actually, so that has to do with like the API that they're calling on the back end. And I don't think we can rely on MetaMask to be super friendly to PulseChain right away, but there might be some like RPC settings that you can mess with pretty soon, maybe to point to an accurate oracle to get prices showing up in your MetaMask. So I have no idea, but that's something that developers could do and that, users could edit if somebody wants to work on that. I don't know if anyone's working on that right now. It might not be the priority. For now, I just use pulseburn.com to get a good summary of everything, but eventually that's coming as well. If I had to put 5K into Pulse or PulseX right now, I'd put it into Pulse. But hey, that's not financial advice. That's what I would do. And you are responsible for your own actions. We think for ourselves over here, and we take responsibility because we're all grown men and women. We're grown-ups. We don't listen to random people on YouTube for our financial advice, right? Lol. Derivative genius. Matt is the Bitcoin doctor. Your farm analysis is very helpful. I'm doing HEX, PHEX liquidity long-term. That's my only bridge exposure. Yeah, cool. Probably can't go that terribly for you. Glad that you found it helpful, and good luck to you. I'm going to be doing that soon, and I hope it works out well for me too. We am man. We am man. The hexes are literally at parity, brother. No way. Let's take a look. No, they're not. The hexes are they're like 90%. HEX is right now 90% of hex on PulseChain. They're close. They're not quite there. Do you think HEX will ever be listed by a bigger centralized exchange? Yes, I do. I think it's very likely that OKX was talking about listing listing PulseChain. And I think that eventually they'd probably list HEX as well. I mean, PoloniX lists HEX right now. PoloniX is pretty big. It's not in the US, but I mean, PoloniX is pretty big for HEX in HEX terms. Let's take a look at like what exchanges centralized. And I don't like centralized exchanges, guys, but if you're asking, one day will it be on Coinbase? One day will it be on Kraken? Yeah, I think that it's easily possible. We just need to keep proving that we're here to stay, right? We got to keep showing the market that we're not going anywhere, and we're not scammers, and we're just here to dominate crypto, guys. All right, so centralized exchanges for HEX. Yeah, PoloniX is number one. MEXC, HitBTC. I mean, these aren't the best of the best exchanges, but I know PoloniX actually has a USD on ramp for Europeans mostly, not for Americans. But one day, maybe Kraken Crypto or Kraken, Coinbase, Crypto.com. One day. I'm getting a little tired, guys. We've got 1,100 people watching. Oh my God. I do have to get going pretty soon. I've got boating school. Call me SpongeBob because I got boating school, son. I got to go talk to Mrs. Puff in a little bit. Final ages of productions. Coffee, let me ask you, in all the test nets, the INC flew upwards to like 10 to 15K. Studied a lot. Did it really? $10,000 to $15,000? Dang. Why would main What would make main any different? Good point. You know, we can look at QuickSwap, right? QuickSwap had their Quick token, and we know what happened to Quick token. In the early days, it was only a couple of cents, and it went up to a couple $1,000s. Here, let me show you guys Quick token. Well, it looks like every other chart, but hold on. Oh, it looks like they did some kind of a stock split type of thing. All right, it's going to be hard to chart Quick token right now, but hold on. Basically, guys, on QuickSwap, it's like a DEX on Polygon. They had this token that was their incentive coin, basically, and it went from 50 cents to $1,000 or something. So it's not impossible to get to triple digits, even 4 digits. It might take longer. You know, people on the test net, they're playing around with money that's not real. So we gotta respect that. People were probably just buying it up to pump it for fun. But in the real world, people take a little bit longer. People don't just, you know, yeah, people ape into stuff in the real world, but people also dump a lot in the real world too. So when you've got test nets, it's just funny money. Everyone's just buying everything just to look at the green numbers, right? So I wouldn't say it's going to happen as fast as it did on testnet, but it's definitely possible to go up into triple digit, maybe even 4 digit territory one day. Havid, is that you? Where are you? Hey, thanks for watching, Havid. Go follow this girl on Twitter, okay? If you're not, if you want to get up to date PulseChain information, HEX information, Havid HEX right here. Follow on Twitter. What do you think about what happened to wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse? We're bringing that up. It's a great topic. All right, guys. Today, what you need to learn. Here's something you need to learn. Okay. The copies of certain tokens on the PulseChain network will not, especially if they're meant to be tied to something, you know, in advance. For example, stable coins. In the early days of PulseChain's launch, a lot of people made a giant mistake. Not a lot of people. Some people made a very, very big mistake. Hey, thank you for the sub, Architect. Some people made the mistake of swapping a lot of PLS, let's say PLS, for a stable coin that wasn't worth anything. MMM. So when you copy a stable coin over, there's no longer the guarantee by the centralized company that issued that stable coin that that coin still has to be worth $1. Nobody's backing the value of that at $1 other than people's ignorance and people's maybe belief that they want it to be $1. But guys, the native USDC on PulseChain right now is worth like $0.0001 because there's no company. Circle, the company, is not backing the price of USDC on PulseChain. They didn't issue any native USDC on PulseChain yet. They might one day. They haven't yet, but they've issued it over on Ethereum. So right now, the only real USDC is the one that comes from Ethereum. Same thing with wrapped Bitcoin. WBTC, thank you for the sub, Jay Matthias. The only real wrapped Bitcoin, and by the way, guys, wrapped Bitcoin is a coin that represents one Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain. It's basically Bitcoin bridged over to Ethereum. But when that got copied over, you had PWBTC. I know, these acronyms, right? It's killing me too, guys. It's hard to talk about it. A lot of letters. But their PulseChain version of wrapped Bitcoin obviously should not be holding Bitcoin peg because there's nowhere to exchange it back for one Bitcoin. Over on Ethereum, you can always exchange one wrapped Bitcoin for one real Bitcoin. You can't do that on PulseChain. So people were mistakenly buying this morning. This morning, people were mistakenly buying wrapped Bitcoin that was PulseChain native, thinking that it was like really underpriced Bitcoin. And they were really, really wrong. And unfortunately, yeah, the price went up really, really high and went down really, really low. So some people bought that and they lost a lot of money. But luckily, I think Richard clarified that early in the morning. He was like, guys, stop. What are you doing? There's only one wrapped Bitcoin, and that's the one from Ethereum. Yes, you can still trade the PulseChain version, but it probably shouldn't have as much value as a full Bitcoin. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. It probably shouldn't be worth a full Bitcoin if you can't actually redeem it for a Bitcoin. So be careful. Make sure that you know which coin you're buying. Guys, on PulseX right here, let me pull up PulseX. Let's pull up PulseX. Trade, exchange, PulseX, boom. So if you really want to know if you're buying the right coin, look at my screen right here. It's hard to see. It's really hard to see. But when you have a stable coin, for example, if it has a little PLS colored circle, you see how there's a little purple and blue circle around it? That means it's native to PulseChain. That means it's not worth anything. So, right, it's not the right USDC that you want to be using. You want to make sure that you're using the USDC that is normal. And it'll even say USDC from Ethereum. You want to make sure you're using the USDC from Ethereum. Just like you want to make sure you're using the DAI from Ethereum and the USDT from Ethereum. When it comes to stablecoins, you really want to make sure that they're saying from Ethereum, and if they have a little PulseChain colored circle over them, purple and blue, stay away. Okay. Thank you, FMC, for the tip. Hey, Coffee, great info. Should I be concerned about going from a 1.4 PLS to PulseX LP to now 1.2? Could I add LP to get right in the middle? Yeah, technically you could. If you put in liquidity at 1.4 and now you think 1.2 is as high as it's going to go, again, it could go higher. Who knows? It could go 1-to-1, like K4K wants it to go. Well, just messing with you, K4K. Yeah, you could even yourself out. So basically, like if you put in some liquidity at the 1-to-4, and if you put in an equal amount of liquidity at the 1-to-2, and then it goes back down to 1-to-3, then you kind of broke even. That makes sense. That's how that works. So yeah, depends a lot on where you put the liquidity position in as well. Like if you put a liquidity position, let's say a PRC20 stablecoin pair, and you put it in at the very top of the coin's price, then as people sell the coin off and they dump the coin, you're going to be accumulating a lot of that coin in exchange for dollars. So it's kind of like a way to buy the coin. It's an advanced strategy, but if you think a coin is near the local top in terms of dollars, and you have a lot of that coin and stable coin, you can put a liquidity pair up near where you think the top is on, let's say, HEX USDC. And as you ride the wave down, people are dumping their HEX into your pockets in exchange for, some of your USDC. So it's kind of like you're buying the coin, but you're getting paid fees as well. So if you want the coin and you want to buy the dip, it's almost like you're getting paid to buy the dip. But it's very, very advanced. Okay, a lot of people watching should not just ignore what I just said. Okay, that's kind of it's kind of advanced. Don't do that one. All right, unless you know what's up. Dang, Crypto Coffee is streaming strong. Hey, what's up, Bigfoot? Bigfoot is real. Did you guys know Bigfoot is real? He's right here. All right, guys, I'm a little tired. I got boating school. Got to go learn how to sail. Yeah, so I'm learning how to sail. So there you go. Gonna have a sailboat soon. Anywhere to see if and which airdrop one is eligible for coffee? Yes. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that you mean which coins do you have on PulseChain? So if you go to pulsechain.com, and then once you're on pulsechain.com, you click validator. Click validator. Once you're on the validator page, on the top section, you click sacrifice checker. Okay. And once you're on sacrifice checker, you click PRC20 token scanner. And that will scan your wallet and it'll show you every single coin that you have. So it's pretty nice. All right. Did I get to everybody? I got to head off. I got to go, guys. New coffee yacht. Yeah. Coming soon. Yeah. Coffee yacht, guys. Yep. Financial freedom, guys. I did it. You can do it. It's not that hard. Don't listen to broke boys that don't know what they're talking about. A lot of guys out there that, I got into crypto last year. Buy my course. Oh, yeah? How's that going to go for you? Be careful. There's a lot of guys out there selling you their crypto expert mastermind, and they just got it. And then And then these people bought the top of the last cycle, but they made a course because they lost 90% and they think they know everything. All right, guys, I love you all. Let's enjoy the ride. Cheers to PulseChain launch. Cheers to a bright future. I wish you all the maddest of gains. I'm exhausted. Like, subscribe. You guys are great. Yeah, listen to Dollar Cost Crypto. That guy's got a course worth taking. I'll tell you that. All right. See ya. Bye.